I've always been a really big fan of the Miyazaki movies. In particular, I like Spirited Away and Ponyo. So I decided to try and kind of make a little animation of Ponyo in Blender. And you can see here, these are some of the examples that I've rendered out. And in this video, it's not so much a tutorial. I'm just kind of covering some of my personal projects. I've done hundreds of tutorials over the years on my channel, and I decided why not just do a little bit of just showing you guys what I do, some of my own personal projects, stuff that you don't really see on YouTube. So you can see here, this is the actual blend file, and here is the actual 3D character. And you can see it's fully 3D, and if I actually tab into edit mode, you can see it's actual mesh topology. And this is actually using motion capture data, but you can see here, I can play it, and I'm actually playing it right now in real time. And you can also see here that I've got some grass here, which I'll explain in a little bit. But let's just talk about this actual model here for a bit. So like I've shown you here, I've made it look in the rendered mode like a 2D render, even though it's actually made out of, like it's actually 3D, same with the hair. But to kind of get this look, all I've done is I've simply just UV unwrapped a lot of the objects here, and I just went into GIMP, or I think it was Photoshop I used, and I just made these different color palettes here that I got using the eyedropper when I just paused the frame on the movie. And these are roughly the kind of colors here, and then I just placed the different objects, the different parts of the body over this. And then I just did a really simple setup with the nodes. So I'll quickly show you guys here what I did with to get that sort of shading effect. So this is actually being rendered in Eevee, and I'm actually using the shader to RGB nodes. Essentially, I've got a principled shader, and that's what's doing the shading effect. Then the shader takes it to an RGB, which is red, green, and blue channel. And then I've got it plugged into a color ramp. And then all I'm doing is I'm taking the actual color palette here, the texture, so to speak, even though there's no texture, it's just the colors here. And I'm plugging that via an image texture into a saturation value node. And then in the one color input, I'm dropping the value a little bit. So pretty much everywhere where the light is hitting here directly, I'm getting the colors that you see here. But anything where the light is omitted, what it's doing is it's taking this hue and saturation value here. So I don't have to, it happens kind of automatically. I can come here to the value, and the more I turn it down, the darker those shadows will get. So it's a really simple setup. And then pretty much this kind of line effect here is really just being done by a solidify modifier. And all I've done is I've gone down to the normals, and I've enabled a flip, so it's a flip normal. And I've done an offset material. So under my material slot, I've got a different material here that I've just called lines. So it's almost like a blackish kind of material. And it's an emission because we don't want it to have any shadows. So just making an emission kind of helps with that issue. And then I've just set that to 1, and it's using that material. And yeah, I mean, more along the lines of that. So this isn't really a tutorial, so I'm not going to go into any, every little detail, but I'm just kind of showing you guys what you could really do with Blender if you wanted to. Really cool stuff like this. And the grass here is just a cylinder that I've given a procedural texture. And I've just added some little hair particles here in the particle system. So you can see here, this is kind of like a low viewport amount here, but if I render it, it renders it at 100%. And it's a lot thicker. So this is by no means a perfect result. I still got a lot of work to do here, but I thought you guys might just like to see what I've done here. And hopefully this encourages you guys to, try and do some stuff like this in Blender. It's just a ton of fun trying to kind of emulate some, those nostalgic 2D movies we all watched as kids using 3D software. So like I said, this was not a tutorial. This is something that's a little bit different. Just showing you guys what I've been working on, and I'll see you guys next time for another video. Hopefully a tutorial. I've got some cool stuff in the works that I'll be showing you guys real soon.